Good afternoon, everyone. Request everyone to settle. Welcome back for afternoon session, that is after lunch session. And now we're going to have a session on role of CSOC in cybersecurity threat management, which is going to be presented by Chandran Subramaniam. Chandran, as you know, I have interacted with him a couple of times, and he's an experienced person from the banking industry and cybersecurity. And without much delay, I hand it over to him, Chandran.
Thank you, Shira. Thank you. Good afternoon to all. We face two challenges, including me, post-lunch. And this august audience with many experienced speakers. This session is going to be a challenge for me. With that, let us start. The role of CSOC in risk management, cyber risk management, in enterprise risk management. To me, it sits in the center of this today's risk management. Let us see how. Yeah, you had the introduction about me. Agenda I kept for next 30 to 40 minutes. Understanding of the cybersecurity ecosystem. I'm sure you all professionals here will be aware of many of the terms, jargons, acronyms, abbreviation. But nevertheless, I'll take some time on that. The lessons learned. We know many attacks. You must be knowing many attacks as we turn the page or watch the media, print media, television. You get daily basis attack here, there, everywhere. The key lessons learned for this topic, I have captured that, I'll share with you. The defense, cyber defense, it's war, it's a cyber war. 2 nations, 3 nations, multiple nations, organized crime, state-sponsored, we are in the war path. So cyber defense, let me share some of the thoughts what I have with me. And the topic, today's topic, Security Operations Center. I'm sure most of you would have come across this, operation. Security has become operation. It's no longer a management. We manage the show. Yeah? It's not clear. Yeah. Security Operations Centers. Is it okay now? Thank you for that. It's a center of any risk management, cyber risk management, digital risk management, enterprise risk management. All of us are digitalized. We speak only digitalized business process, value creation, whether it's a blockchain or it's a AI ML or it's a cloud or on-premises. So let us see where it plays the role, how it is positioned. Then some thought, definitely I don't have full how CSOC will progress in the next future, but I do have something to share with you based on my own experience. Modern SOC, the Cyber Security Operations Center, integrated, or the Code Fusion Center. We'll see about it, the trends about it. We will have a small Q&A session. Cyber ecosystem, as I said, it's more of jargons to me. The words, abbreviation used makes me more nervous than managing the security. Let us see what are they. The bottom of it, information assets. We are all trying to protect the information assets, data, information, whatever form, software, hardware, service asset. It's being stored in various forms, data lake, cloud, fog, edge devices. In fact, managing the edge devices, protecting the edge devices is going to be a major challenge. We talk about digital twins. So underlying the principle is we live with vulnerabilities. All of us, he or she, we have our own weakness. Exploited, system created by the human system do have vulnerability. The known, unknown weakness, continuously it is there. There are threats, threat agents, bad actors, exploiting these vulnerabilities, resulting in risk, financial, statutory, compliance, or regulatory, reputational, whatever form of risk to the organization. Nowadays, even the risk results in safety and security of the environment, human assets. So it's a whole lot exploited by various threat agents, threat forms, threat landscape, which keep increasing. It will increase in this public untrusted, internet connected world. So what CSOC can do? CSOC can do many things, and it is doing. CSOC will do more also. Currently, threat monitoring, not review, not looking at the computers, monitoring continuously the threat, the traffic coming inside, traffic leaving the organization. Threat monitoring, threat hunting, threat intelligence have gained momentum of late. A lot of job opportunity, career opportunities, solutions, a lot of intelligence available. We'll see briefly about it. Rest of them, you must be aware of it. Maybe for the sake of time as well as simplicity, I'll take one or two relevant to that. We have IOC, indicator of compromise, IOB, indicator of behavior. We have MTTD, MTTR. An incident happens, normal event, I log into a system, it's a normal event, successful, unsuccessful. One time I gave a password incorrect, it could be a log event. A Windows event viewer will capture an event. It's a normal one, it's a normal event. Someone else attempting my credential, possible, it is happening. It becomes incident. Even becoming incident, still somebody can stop it. Can have some other overview about what is happening. Incident breaches, maybe a policy violation, results in loss, data losses, results in security breaches. Now, the time to detect, I call it as MTTD, mean time to detect such incident. And then, yes, I have detected it. The time to respond, MTTR, is also going to be a factor. Dwell time, as we call it. Other aspects you will be knowing, we are all regulated by many compliance and law of the land regulatory requirements inside, outside the country, wherever you operate. Even the GDPR, if you look at it, if you serve the client in EU citizen, it is applicable. So we are all compelled by growing compliance requirement. This is what the left side talks about, the vulnerability or attack or the threats. The right side, I'm talking about CSOC. This, I made an attempt to define cybersecurity risk management as much as possible to the best of my knowledge. It is about protection of assets, protection of information assets, protection of classified information assets. It could be physical, it could be digital, it could be human assets also. From the threat agents, man-made or natural, the bad actors are there, exploiting the vulnerabilities, the weakness, known, sometimes unknown, unknown to me, known to the hackers, known to others, which lead to the risk. Affecting what? The confidentiality, integrity, availability, physical, environmental safety and security. Today, if you talk about ICS, automation, we talk everywhere. ICS is also undergoing a lot of automation. The OT environment is also equally challenged, particularly from physical, environmental safety, resulting into damage, the definition of threat, anything which can cause potential damage to my assets, whichever form of asset. What I do, I put in place appropriate controls. Could be a technical, management, operational, physical controls, managing the risk. Just I'm managing the risk. It's about managing cyber risk. If we can do it acceptable level within the organization, probably we could do well. A few words about control. I'm sure you're all aware of control. I don't need to repeat it, but few things I needed for our own session. Preventive and proactive, the best one in a cybersecurity risk management, but not possible, we all know, because of the cost and time and efforts. And also, if you have the best breed of the preventive control, proactive controls, you need to have a detective control, which is more on a run the show. As usual, it should be integral part of our program. So you have a detective control, particularly the log review. The log monitoring, security operations center, using a tool like SIEM, forms the basis of detective control. It's not enough if you have detective control. Still, you need to have the corrections done, timely correction, and reactive. Naturally, it will be reactive. You have in the form of many forms. I have taken few examples like antivirus, disaster recovery, operational resilience, and then last but not the least, deterrent controls, and as well as could be driven by compliance, internal compliance or external compliance. This one, you may be knowing it. I want to share this, particularly in the CSOC context. To me, what is not measured, what cannot be measured, cannot be monitored. What cannot be monitored cannot be improved at all. If I don't do improvement, there is no value creation for my business or the stakeholders. So it's a continuum of the control universe which I need to put in efforts. Some of the lessons learned, particularly the one on the related to CSOC, and you will agree with me, CSOC can play the role of cyber defense much better than what we do today, and still we can improve further. So let us see what is the key lessons learned. I'm not going to repeat the Sunblast attack, SolarWinds attack, how it happened, who is behind, which you will be knowing more by this time. Maybe this was done earlier presentation as well. To me, what I am looking at it, if I take the threat actor, the day one, whichever day, which we come to know after a year, after a few years, in many incidents, major incidents of this nature, which affected all the US government, globally it was an issue. It all started somewhere September 2019. There is an injection or whatever patch release, somebody updates the patch. The software, Orion software, SolarWinds, the monitoring tool got infected, it spreads. Supply chain attack, we call it. It was till January 11th, 2021. The topic was investigation on who did it, which group, debatable. It is a sophisticated attack affecting all the, not directly the victim, through the supplier of the Orion software monitoring tool. Quite good amount of time involved. There is another one, Singapore Health Services. It happened August 2017. Whatever the attack through Citrix server, through weak password, admin password, through the IT servicing agency IHIS was, environment was breached. They were supporting all the health services in Singapore. It took nearly 1 year to spot, yes, there is an attack in my environment, resulting in leakage of patient's record, including Prime Minister of the country. Again, the time taken is quite long. This one, people who are from the banking industry, I'm sure they would have learned this. SWIFT is considered to be, even now, it is a closed user group, highly secure network, and it moves billions, millions of dollars from various parts of the world, fund transfer system. It was attacked quite some time across the globe. It all started in 2015. It went till February 9, 2016. In the case of Bangladesh, Dhaka Central Bank, money went to Manila via Federal Bank, New York. They could not even detect it. By coincidence, there was a misspell in the beneficiary name. It came to light, and from that point onwards, investigation other things proceeded. More than a year. So too long even to know that I've been attacked. This one was in the news. MS Exchange, Microsoft Exchange, on-premises Outlook client, the on-premises physical server, patch was not updated. It's a zero-day exploit. For about 3 months it was doing, this attack was going on the Microsoft Exchange server. This one I wanted to share with you. The European Agency for Cybersecurity, they publish year to year the threat landscape. The learnings, what is the takeaway from this report? Malware as a service, ransomware as a service. The biggest challenge today for anybody, whether you are a CEO, CIO, CISO, VCISO, security professional, consultant, ransomware is a real threat. Ransomware as a service. Cryptojacking, you will be knowing that. BEC, the business email compromise. Email is the best solution for communication, but it is also the most challenging when it comes to security. Misinformation, disinformation, a lot of the medias, whatever happens, you cannot even verify what is happening at the other side. So misinformation, disinformation, phishing as a service, non-malicious. What is non-malicious? Any guess? Non-malicious, normally we talk about a malware with a footprint, signature. I can compare it, I can give you a name, I can compare, there is a virus attack of this nature. I can give you a name to that. This is a non-malicious, could be a fileless, it could be system vulnerabilities, or it could be misconfiguration. As in the case of Capital One, you will be knowing the attack on Capital One somewhere in 2019. One person was part of the AWS service provider, a misconfigured AWF, the web application firewall. She was able to get into the data, take the data, exfiltrate the data, send it outside. Nobody detected till she told on her own in a social media, I've done it. So it's an exploitation, not by any malicious code. Non-malicious supply chain attack. We saw many things, SolarWinds, Kaishia attack, this colonial pipeline. You can name many more on the supply chain attack. It all increased during the COVID period. This statement, what I am sharing, it's a well-known statement made somewhere 2012, maybe after the JP Morgan attack. But still, even in 2022, maybe for some more years to come, there are two types of companies. Those who have been hacked, one category, and those who don't know yet that they have been hacked. That is a former Cisco chairman. The other one from the former FBI director. There are only two types of companies. One, they've been hacked. And the other one, they will be. So nobody is left. I could agree with this statement because on a daily basis, your network, your website, there is a port scanning will be happening. So all the public facing or assets, whatever, wherever, whichever form, regular scanning, reconnaissance is happening. It's continue to happen. If there is a vulnerability, he will gather that information. If he is interested, he will be able to attack it through a mechanism. We'll see it shortly. So we are already challenged, threatened. Let us understand the challenges it poses to us. We are all in the industry 4.0, Industrial Revolution 4.0. If one is the steam engine, if the two is the electric or electric motor, the mass production of product services, if version 3 is your integrated chips or internet, other things, version 4 already started. We are all into what you call as a convergence. To me, there is a digital, physical, natural biosphere convergence. So all are integrated. So what? This is from World Economic Forum. Every year they predict it, Global Risk Horizon. You can download this report. You can have a view at that. Interestingly, cybersecurity is not on the top list. Somewhere seventh kind of a thing. Other issues, maybe food, climatic, other issues are taking the top slots. Still, cybersecurity failure to secure our environment, to protect our information asset could be a major risk. The emerging trend from Trend Micro, I'm sure we are all party to this fourth industrial 4.0, disruptive technology, whatever form you want to call it. We are already on to that. We don't have a choice, nor we have anything. We will facilitate, but we will understand what it means to us from a risk management professional perspective. Whether it's a cloud is predicted, it's going to be there, it's already, we are all cloud. In fact, startups go to cloud without any second thought about it. So cloud is already there. Cloud, operational technology process, automation taking up precedence, IoT devices. One side, the technology, new emerging technologies also emerging. We do have integrity monitoring. For example, only one or two I'll take it. In the Swift attack, when the beneficiary file was changed, not the approving, not the system, no exploitation. The file which had the beneficiary was edited, and it is a straight-through processing. So there was no integrity monitoring, file integrity monitoring, FIM solution. Even if you have a FIM not integrated with a centrally visible solution like a SOC solution. On the other side, the risk, some of the risk I will share. Privilege access. One of the steps in an attack, I'm sure you will be aware, it's not your privilege, my privilege. They will elevate our privilege after taking a control of the environment, to stay in the environment. So privilege access controls, they are managed well. You may not know which is the admin in your router, home router, whether it is changed with the default password or not. So exploiting the privilege administration or admin privileges is one of the steps. So there is a challenge from the risk perspective. Malware, ransomware, APTs, they are all the threats. Threats are real, going to remain. So what it means to us? Digital transformation will happen. We will also support it. There's no second opinion in it. We will secure those environments after understanding the risk. Identity theft, it's a very common. We keep our credentials in our mobile. Maybe Windows saves it in the browser. Identity theft with all the edge devices, many devices we sync, we are able to connect. Always we are connected in the internet world. So where is our credential? It's anybody's guess. So identity theft is going to be on the higher side. Privacy, Data Privacy Act, already there in the EU GDPR. We are going to have the revised data protection. So data privacy is going to be an issue. There is a paradox. The theme of this CSOC program, one time we talk about privacy, another time we want to share our information, whatever form, whichever form in the social media. So challenge for the individual, challenge for the organization, integrity challenges, integrity in the form of, what is integrity? What is integrity? Yes, that's it. The whole attribute of completeness, accuracy, validity, purity, if there is a word virtue for your data, that is to be assured. Most challenging for any assurance professional to give it that right from the day it is captured till it is there in this data cycle or information cycle. So these are some of the challenges. Non-availability, we see more and more of a DOS attack. It is happening. Lack of accountability. So in a distributed ledger, for example, you are required to do an audit of such an environment. Where will you fix that accountability for the act or no act? Encryption failed or not failed? How will you establish the accountability when the data and the platform itself is distributed? Non-compliance, penalties, heavy penalties. After introduction of GDPR, Google was fined heavily. We thought Google is the highest fine from GDPR till AWS, the Amazon cloud was not penalized. When AWS was penalized around $700, $800 million, that takes the highest value. Maybe another day, another organization. So the non-compliance is a issue, strategic issue. Today I go with the A cloud, tomorrow I need to go to B cloud. How will I go? What will happen to my data? Or I decide to come back to on-premises, that 25% of the on-premises. How will I do that? So issues like strategic issue, to me personally, skills and knowledge, it's going to be a major challenge for any professional. The environment, IT environment already disrupted. Controls have been disrupted. Traditional controls, whatever we had, has already gone. Shadow IT is a reality. Everybody is well-educated, well-aware of the digital transformation. You want to keep the data in the cloud, possible. So how will you manage that changing control environment? These are some of the challenges. We know the threats, we know the challenge. For me, mean time to detect. Attacks is going to happen. The time to detect is my catch, and the time to respond is going to be my key performance or key goal indicators. Let us see how we can defend our environment. We all know this by this time. There is a threat intelligence is available based on whatever happened globally. The patterns have been captured, whether it's a APT attack or malware attack. So it has been captured. Methair attack, attackmethair.org, many platforms. It's a well-known platform where they have captured the cyber attack life cycle and as well as how to manage, mitigate your environment. So in the 7th stage of a cyber attack, it's very clear. The first 3, the left side of the, is it okay? Okay, sorry. The left side of the attack, you don't have a control, but you can do something. Let us understand what does it mean by that. Reconnaissance, gathering information about you, it's happening. So it's continue to happen for many reasons. Maybe a valid business reason or maybe a target of attack. Weaponization. So once they do the recognize, gathered the information, chosen strategically which target to attack, they then get into the weaponization. Which one, Ryux or malware or rootkit, whatever the malicious code. Maybe you have a mobile application banking, I'll use a different one. If you have a Windows, I'll use a different malicious code. So codes are available, ransomware as a service, malware as a service is there. Now, delivery. I'll do delivery through many methods. Maybe a web is a very good interface, maybe an email. So these are some of the methods. I will deliver that piece of weaponized code to your environment. This, you don't have a control. You can manage it, but virtually, we don't have a control what is happening on the left side of the attack. Let us focus on the right side. Once the code, piece of code, comes into my environment, what I should do. First, it gets exploited, maybe a self-exploding exe file or DLL file, or it could be some other file. It starts moving. If it is the intention to spread lateral movement within my network, it moves. It takes a control. Gives the control to the original hacker site, maybe in some country. Hacker may be in one country, the command and control server may be in another country. Then, depending upon the intention of the attack, encryption, ransomware attack, or it is only phishing attack, or he just wants to take a copy of your credential, address book, send it across, or wants to remain there undetected for too long. Whatever its intention, it happens. This can be prevented, detected, corrected in a timely manner using SOC. We'll see that. This one, again, the threat intelligence. The threat intelligence has been gained. It is available. It is up to us to make use of it proactively. That is exactly this threat intel platform. There is a matrix detailing the TTP. What is TTP? Yes, tactics, techniques, and procedures used in many of the attacks. The lessons learned have been captured very well, well documented for anybody. Anybody who wants to prevent, protect their environment, they can do that. In fact, these are used by threat hunters, pen testers, developers, CSOC people, very largely to protect their environment. I'll not go too deep into that. So if you take each of the tactics is the highest level, more of a strategic hackers do that. The technique is at a technical level, they do it. If you take each of the verticals, it talks about subcategory. Details you can go drill down further. So it gives a lot of information for any security professional to understand and prevent their environment. This one, the best cybersecurity framework I have come across and is adopted almost by every nation in the world. They have customized it to suit their requirement. If you look at it, the interesting part to me, it talks about security incident do happen. Be prepared for it. There's no ifs and buts on this situation. You have to identify your assets if you know. Only then you can protect. Identify your asset which you want to protect. We'll see where the attack surface is changing a landscape separately. Identify, protect it, detect the anomalies. Anomalies in the behavior, in the indicator of compromise, in the way the data is being sent out without even the request coming from the users. Detect, respond to those incidents in a timely manner. MTDD, MTTR, improve it, recover to near normal or normal. This is from our own Indian perspective. NCIIPC, National Critical Information Infrastructure Protection Center, they have come out with a guideline applicable to all the critical sectors of the country. Every country has done it, so India has also done it. So irrespective of where we are, the incident response, incident management, incident response. Incident management is more of a risk management, proactive at the management cross-functional level. Incident response at the level of CSOC or people who are on the ground trying to recover it from the attack. It starts with the preparation. Prepare yourself, do analysis when there is an attack, detect, analyze. Once you analyze, you see that there is an attack, report it, notify it, and then do eradication, which is not easy, especially in a large network. Eradicate, containment will be the first step, followed by the eradication, and then you recover, and then update your program based on the lessons learned. So what is Security Operations Center could do with this? If the threat is real, if the attack is going to happen, how will you do that? Security Operations Center. Operation, the word, normally associated with the back office type of a function, which we do again and again. But then why in information security? It was not used for 10 years before. So the operations as part of the security management monitors, prevents, detects, investigation, and respond. They are all the function of a SOC. Traditional SOC, I can call it at this stage, monitoring, continuous monitoring. And Monday to Friday, 5 days a week, it's not going to work. It should be 365 days, depending upon the exposure threat profile of the organization. They are the central point. If you have a policy, if you say I have a security policy, 12 alphanumeric multi-factor authentication, who can detect and tell you is only the CSOC team. No one else even can run a tool and find it out. Actual what is happening, the SOC can do that. This one, traditional SOC, even today many organizations have. Some organizations do not have even logs enabled, even logs not enabled, performance issue. There is many other issues are being told. But then incident response, it works like that. Planning, preparing yourself, then detection, triage, and investigation. What is triage, this term in security? Categorization, prioritization. Same time, if all of us fell sick, so who should be attended to? That type of a situation, in fact, it happens. When there is a DOS attack, most of the people will be focusing on the website, bringing up the DR site, the web server. Actually, the issue may be internally, some other thing may happen. So you have to prioritize, categorize and prioritize, and do the investigation, containment, first aid in an accident, in an incident, any mishap. What we do, give them first aid. That is exactly the containment, analyze, tracking, post-incident follows. One experience what I faced in SOC, live SOC, I want to share with you. There is a true positive, true negative, false positive, false negative. I think many of us would have come across this. Whenever we introduce a control, a two-factor authentication, biometric, they sound well, but at times they do have a lot of false positive. May not be tested completely, may not have such a situation to test every aspect. False positive, false negative are alarming. True positive and true negative is okay. So what are the challenges in the way traditional? Why traditional? Even many organizations have this SOC model. The issue is a lot of false positive. Lot of false positive. If you have seen a SOC SIEM solution which captures the log from endpoints. Endpoints could be your PC, laptop, server. It could be anything, so for maybe network devices. Huge events are created. Every in and out. As you are opening your laptop, Windows runs many of the services, trying to connect to the authentication server, proxy server. Some services are always running. So you have n number of events created per second. EPS is a huge count. Capacity management, configuration itself is going to be a challenge. Then you get an alert. Events or alert are just indication. They are not incident. Most of the time, we think alerts have come, we have to act. But could be false positive. It is false positive in many instances. Threshold. Today, I configure the SIM solution, SIEM, Security Information Event Management Tool. I configure it based on a rule. The rule itself is a limitation. If there is a value 1 to 12, 1 to 10, 10 is a threshold. That is my interpretation of 10 is a high risk. Maybe somebody gave me the input, I called it as a 10. Actually, even a low risk may turn out to be a major one when it comes to SOC monitoring, lack of contacts, and then lot of manual investigation. There is no automation, most of the environment, alert prioritization, talent gaps, resources, not many resources, skilled resources, multiple technology. If you go to any reasonably big organization, you will come across 70 to 80 endpoint solution. DLP1, antivirus one for endpoint, antivirus one for a server, Linux one product, or other product like that. Number of endpoints, the visibility, the endpoints logs, integrating with the centralized log management system itself is a challenging. Documentation, too many alerts, that's what I said. MTDD, MTTR, it's not even defined. It's not even their key risk indicator. It's not even their key performance indicator. Added to this, I made an attempt to compile as much as possible. It's not an exhaustive list, where the mandatory requirement of a monitoring, incident response, incident reporting. For example, in GDPR, if there is a data breach about a personal information, personally identifiable information of a European citizen, you have to report it within 72 hours if you think there is a compromise on the PII. If you take the instance of the new one, the HIPAA, for the healthcare industry, if records of 500 or more patients have been compromised, you have to report it within 60 days of that incident, slightly longer period. So each compliance, I've tried to compile it. Almost all of us are compelled to have monitoring, incident reporting, incident management function within our organization. So what about the intelligence, the modern CSOC? We all living this age where it is integrated, intelligence-driven, well-managed security operations center. This is a hype cycle. Only one or two I'll take it. I'll not take much about it. The hype cycle, you know how to read it. It has a hype. Hype cycle, as it conveys, it is a hype many a time. I remember in 2015, about CSOC, we were talking about SOAR. SOAR stands for Security Orchestration Automated Response. 2015, when I read it, I was excited. I'm yet to find one such full SOAR till date. So if you look at it, it is on a downside. On the lower side, from the peak, it is still not stabilized. The lower portion, the threat intelligence as a service, network detection and response, they are not. They are going to be on the lower trough of disillusionment. The one which is stable is a SIEM solution. Many SIM solutions are well stable. They are able to manage our environment. This is from ISACA. This is a very interesting article on that. The evolution of Security Operations Center, as we call it. In fact, there was no logs. There was no security officer. There was no security analyst. The admin, system admin used to manage the logs. If you go and ask as an auditor if you have done it, he'll say, no, more than 3 days, we don't keep the logs. No, you cannot get the logs after more than a month. It's a return, overwritten. It all started with the simple availability monitoring for the performance related from a serviceability perspective, moved to security, reactive monitoring, somebody compelled from IPS, firewall. Once you set up IPS ideas, what will you do? You have to capture the logs, analyze it. So from that perspective, reactive monitoring, even now many organizations do that. Now we are talking about proactive monitoring, the DLP, APT solution on premises or the cloud. You have a SIM, good amount of SIM. SIM has matured to me, to my understanding. SIM on the open source also, we do have SIM on a commercial platform also. You do have very competitive one. You can do that. Then the proactive monitoring with automation. Today we talk about the intelligent driven. It's not only rule-based, it is also context, behavior-based, predictable. If there is a behavior of the traffic, you can predict the anomalies and look for it. That is done in many solutions. SOAR is a classic example. This is the one document which you can look at it from the ISACA's contribution. This is an integrated, I'll take 5 minutes. Yeah, this is an integrated approach. Security engineering, nothing but the security architecture, the brain behind the SIM solution. You have to visualize the data type of the log, source, how to integrate, maybe a flat file, maybe a Windows event type, or it can be a syslog file. Architecture plays an important role. He also develops, maintains, manages the SIM solution. Threat intelligence. Intelligence could be strategic, tactical, technical, operational. You do have a lot of platform, open source intelligence as well as paid version. Anomaly is there. You have VirusTotal have. Mithair.org itself is there. The threat defense operation, TDO, the proactive, the word proactive, the intelligent based is the threat hunting team, threat hunters, which is an improvised version of a red team, improvised version of yesterday's penetration tester, who makes use of all the information. He acts like, thinks like a hacker, hypothetical, creates a hypothesis, look for such information within our environment. He is integral part of today's modern CSOC. ASM, 1 or 2 words only, I will not take much. ASM, the challenge today, when I say log integration, 10 Windows, 5 Oracle, 3 SQL, you take 5 firewall. Somebody determines which log to be integrated, not to be integrated. I don't have a visibility of other system, maybe a test environment, maybe other system which are on the cloud, maybe edge devices. That is, the attack surface has been increasing and our visibility is not great. So this is from the dark web. We need to look at the information about us maybe lying there. Incident response, just now we saw that. This is about the maturity. I have taken it from the SOC capability maturity model. There are 5 domains, 25 aspects. If you look at the business people process, talks about the capability, the blue colored one. The purple one talks about capability and maturity. Many organizations yet to achieve this. This is one thing, as it's a continuum, it's a process, is the CSOC. With that, I'll recap. We are into Industry 4.0. We are into digital transformation, automation. We live in this world. We don't have a choice. We have the responsibility to protect our environment. We live in this public untrusted network. All of us are connected to the internet. New attack surface, always emerging. Risks are inherent to business. we as an enterprise need to manage the business risk, manage the cyber risk, particularly compliance requirements, cyber threats. We saw it's a real, it's a war-like things we call as a cyber defense, continuous improvement of our control universe. There is no beginning, there is no end. It's a continuum, intelligence-driven. Well, a lot of data are collected, gathered, processed, and then it achieves CSOC, modern CSOC achieves enhanced security posture and overall assurance to our stakeholders. With this note, thank you for the time given. Thanks to the ICC Chennai chapter.
Thanks a lot, Chandran. Okay. I mean, maybe we can give time for two questions. Two questions. Okay. Yeah. Mike, is it?
So with a new certain requirement to respond within 6 hours, right? So how does the SOC will look like? And one thing is MTTD and MTTR. One thing we also need to factor in is the reporting to authorities.
Yes. The time to detect, time to respond is the key measurement of any effective CSOC. As I said, the SIM has matured. SIM as I can quote, not as a product, at least what I've seen. IBM Curator, Splunk, today's Splunk has taken one product like a Phantom, which has the intelligence inbuilt into that. Predictively, it can propose what can go wrong like that. So you can achieve that 6 hours of the certain or a GDPR or any other expectation with a well-prepared incident response plan and reverse it. There is a mock drill. If you look at the SANS 20 control or SANS 18 control, one of them talks about the red team, blue team exercise as well as mock drills. If we perform the time to, like a BCP DRP of yesterday, we can do that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That really able to implement some of the criteria there. We'll talk about it offline on how we can implement.
So are real. It's not that 2015 what I saw, but it's not still on a stabilized phase.
Wonderful presentation. So what I just want, sir, being whatever you have been presented for the SOC operation, that is the on-premises very well. But as being the part is there, people have been going to adopt the cloud. People have been adopted also. How this operation can be managed, because now whatever the time we have to report, we have been totally dependent upon someone who has been monitoring. Who has to give the log? Whether it's on-premises, my SIM can be monitored the log of the clouds. How you can be just tell the SOC manager who was there on-premises, past 10 years, 20 years, how they can handle this cloud journey.
So very interesting. 2 parts, I'll break it. Is it possible to have it on the cloud? It is possible. Many solutions are on the cloud. All the players of the cloud players, they offer that over the cloud, ready-made, plug and play. The second part, which is the organization. They can give you $1 to somebody, but still the risk is owned by the organization. Visibility, you can increase it. You can have this MTTR, MTTD as a part of the SLA, visibility, alert, thresholds are defined and given to 4 or 5 or maybe more number of incident response team, and then you can bring it to your control. Solution is there. You have the governance, we need to enhance it.
Can we integrate it with this on-premises SOC?
Yes, you can send the log to that side. You want to do on-prem hybrid model, you can do, because you can forward the logs, like I locally forward in a secure tunneled manner, you can forward the log from here to any of the centralized log collector.
No, take an example for what I want to say. AWS having their security mechanism, security hub. You have been taken to these services, they are monitoring log, they have to report you. That will be form of a dashboard. And you are having on-site SOC operation, you are having a SIM. How you can correlate? You will take log, it will come to you, then you have to do the preparation and you have to share to be certain. It will take more time, sir. Ultimate, and we have been totally dependent upon those people, whatever the log they are giving. So it's like that, this is one cloud. If I am taking a Google also, if I am taking other also, the multiple correlation again happen, whether SIM having its capability?
Yes, for this SIM solution, it takes that as another endpoint. As long as I can forward the log in a format, The bigger container can collect the log. The dashboard analyzer can analyze the index or search engine, present it in a dashboard in a consolidated one image picture. It is there actually.
I think we have a centralized SOC in
Okay. Yes, that type of a model. We are living in that exactly. What you said, cases are there implemented. Thank you for that question.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Let's give a big round of applause.
Thank you for your question.
And just a minute, Chandran. On behalf of Isaka Chennai chapter, we would like to give a memento, small memento. I would request Mr. Vittal Raj to please come and hand over the memento, please. Yes, no. As usual, it's survey time. There are 5 questions. Start. Yeah. Next. Stop. Start. Start.